Hey, this is meteorologist Matt Daniel with Athens, Georgia weather. Today is Thursday, January 24th, 2013. And the big story today is the potential to see freezing rain tomorrow across North Georgia. So let's go ahead and go right into it. Right now, this is an image from the National Weather Service showing you the timing of the possible ice accumulations Friday morning through Friday evening. Now, if you look at northwest Georgia, the timing of the rain is going to probably begin first around 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. And as this moisture builds up, it's going to spread to the east across North Georgia. So the biggest area to see ice accumulation will be across northeastern Georgia. And then in our area, we're looking at from probably around 8 a.m. into noon. Notice the accumulations are pretty light across the Athens, Atlanta area, probably 100 to maybe a tenth of an inch of ice or a glaze across our grassy surfaces, power lines, bridges, overpasses, and maybe in parts of the roads. So it doesn't really take that much to actually cause problems. This is an image right here of the warnings and the advisories that have been issued. As you can see, Blairsville, Gainesville, you are included in the winter storm warning where ice accumulations could go up to about a quarter of an inch. Meanwhile, across the rest of northern Georgia, mainly from I-20 north, we are in a freezing rain advisory, which is mainly a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation or less across our area. But once again, it doesn't take that much to cause a lot of treachery, to have treacherous roads and cause problems. Now, this is my map. If it'll show up on here. There we go. This is my map of what I'm seeing. The biggest issue about tomorrow is the precipitation. I feel like we're not going to see that much in the way of a lot of rain across our area. When I say rain, I mean freezing rain. I feel like the further north you are, the better chances to see more accumulation. So I agree with the Weather Service right here where I believe northeastern Georgia, that's where your coolest temperatures are going to be for the day, and that's where the most of the moisture is going to be located at. So that's probably the greatest risk to see some ice accumulation, and therefore that's where the winter storm warning's been issued. Northwestern Georgia, temperatures in the beginning should be below freezing, and when they get that rain pushing in, it should become freezing rain. So I do believe we could see some ice accumulations up there. And then meanwhile, everywhere else, south of the blue regions into Atlanta and Athens, I believe we're going to see probably less than a tenth of an inch of ice accumulations. So that's what I see. Now, as you can tell, the models are just everywhere. One model showing a lot of rain or a lot of freezing rain, it's not showing hardly anything, and also the temperatures is a tricky forecast. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. This is a model. This is the GFS model showing us what could happen tomorrow. So as we go into tomorrow, this is tomorrow morning, and the pink and the orange colors is showing the mix, the freezing rain, sleet. One thing we know for sure is that the precipitation is definitely going to be freezing rain or sleet. Snow's out of the question. And as we advance, as you can tell, in the morning hours tomorrow and into the early afternoon, that mix is going to be all across northern Georgia, and particularly around Gainesville, points north, and even in parts of Athens. And then this model showing it, the wedge or that cool air at the surface is going to actually erode and go away, and therefore temperatures are going to warm up into the mid to upper 30s and maybe even the low 40s, and therefore there will be no threat. But the thing is, we're not really sure if we buy this because usually these wedges are very tricky. They like to stay around longer than what the models show, and when they do that, we could see colder temperatures last longer, and which means we might have a longer threat to see freezing rain or sleet. So that's the GFS model I'm just showed. Now, if we look at the NAM model, it's a lot drier than what we saw with the GFS as we go into time. Right now, nothing going on in the morning hours. The best time really to see precipitation will probably be after 8 a.m. Friday morning. So we're entering the morning hours, and as you can tell, it's still pretty dry. And then finally, after 8 a.m., we're starting to see a little bit of mix across northern Georgia, mainly north of I-85. And so far, Atlanta, Athens still remains dry in this model run. And as you can tell, there's just not that much moisture this model showing. So if this model solution verifies, then there shouldn't be too many issues across the Athens-Atlanta area, but you might see some icy conditions across northeastern Georgia. And as we continue with this model, it's also warming up our temperatures and mainly just showing rain across our area. And once again, we're not quite sure if that's going to verify or not. So we can look at all these models as much as we want, but they're all going to show us different things. We're not really sure what to expect tomorrow. So the main thing I just want to tell you is tomorrow morning, if you got to wake up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., we shouldn't have any issues. It's just going to be really cold. Temperatures are probably going to be in the upper 20s across our area. And then tomorrow, that rain's going to start developing, and it's going to fall into the dry air because it's going to be really dry tomorrow morning. And what's going to happen is that rain's going to fall, and then it's going to evaporate before it hits the surface. So what happens when it is pretty much it cools the surface. So as the rain enters that cool, shallow air, the temperatures will actually fall a little bit, but it shouldn't make contact. And eventually it'll start moistening up, and then we'll start seeing that freezing rain fall across our area. Best time is going to be after 8 a.m., and it can continue throughout the day. The timing's not really specific. We're just going to say after 8 a.m., chances to see freezing rain is possible. I'm thinking more late morning into the early afternoon is probably our best shot to see some type of minor ice accumulations. Now, when I say minor, I'm not saying the trees are going to weigh down, power lines are going to break, all that. I'm not talking about devastating ice storm or anything, but I'm just saying minor ice accumulations. But that's just enough to cause a lot of problems because people, let's just be honest, it's difficult to drive in ice, and so we're going to see problems on the roads. So that's just pretty much the little video of what I want to tell you about tomorrow's problematic weather, we could say. So for now, just stay tuned. Stay with our page at athensgeorgiaweather.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter because these things will change. Mainly, we need to just monitor the current conditions as they continue tomorrow. We could see big surprises. We might not see any surprises. So just stay tuned with us, and we'll give you the latest information if we get anything that's worth reporting. So stay tuned, and thank you for following us at Athens GA Weather. Take care.